here, coming at you today with a whole host of balancing changes in Clash of Clans, brought to us via a blog on the forums. It's going to be a new developer blog, and you got to give Supercell a little bit of credit here. They've rightfully taken a ton of criticism by yours truly and the entire community for not communicating enough. So finally, they're going to start communicating more regarding changes and balancing changes, not just telling us what, but also telling us why. I feel like this will be crucial to have intelligent conversation and not have to just play mind reader. I thought about including all the text from the post in this video, but instead I figured I'd probably kind of just talk about the changes. I'd read them, and then I'd read Supercell's reasoning for the changes, and then I'd give my little take if the specific change warrants that. So before I begin, I do want to mention that a lot of these changes are kind of strange to read when you're not aware of the upcoming update. So some of these changes seem, they'll make you raise an eyebrow. But once you see what the sneak peeks hold, I think a lot of it will make more sense, and a lot of it you will just have to see in action after the update goes live. Same thing with all these big balancing posts. So this is a real big one, to be honest with you. There's a lot of content here. So hey, let's jump right to it. So Town Hall 11, Grand Warden Life Aura and the Eternal Tome range has been reduced slightly. They say the Grand Warden's massive ability range and unique AI have made him a unit where placement doesn't matter as much as it should. A slight reduction in his range should help Clash's newest hero should make Clash's new hero a bit more challenging to play and play effectively. So a little nerf to the Grand Warden. And then we go to Town Hall 10. Inferno Tower multi-mode now acquires new targets faster. And then what they say is the Inferno Tower multi-mode retargeting delay was initially added a long time ago due to overwhelming effectiveness against witches. With the latest witch level in armies and donations, however, a speed increase needed to help bring back the defense in balance with even larger hordes of skeletons. So this, I can tell you from playing it, is pretty noticeable. Stay tuned for my first sneak peek video and you'll actually see I do a mass witch attack, and wow, those Inferno beams really lock onto those skeletons really quickly. So moving right along here, Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11 players are less likely to find each other in multiplayer. Now that more players have progressed to Town Hall 11, we can make adjustments to matchmaking that will result in less 11-10 matchups. Note that players in Champion League and above will not be affected. This is pretty standard here because obviously there would be such a small pool of Town Hall 11 players at the beginning of the Town Hall 11 update, so they had to compensate for that by allowing Town Hall 11s to find Town Hall 10s in matchmaking more often. And again, that won't affect trophy pushers, just in farming. So Town Hall 9 changes. All skeleton hit points have been reduced. Skeletons should be a fragile unit that overcome their inability to survive damage by sheer numbers. However, their hit points were just a little bit too high, preventing archer towers from destroying them with a single arrow in some cases. The hit point decrease will make sure that archer towers stay effective against skeleton hordes. So another real addition to the witch nerf. I can tell you that the skeleton hit point reduction is actually very small, but as it said with the archer towers, it does make a difference when putting them one-on-one against point defenses. Skeletons spawned from witches no longer trigger traps. So this one actually has a rather long explanation that I'll go ahead and refer you to. By the way, the link to all of this will be in the video description, but essentially what they say is they want more depth of attacks. They see a lot of those Town Hall 11s, 3-starring Town Hall 10s with the 20 witch attacks, and instead of nerfing the witches or too much more nerfing the actual strategy of mass witch, they want to add some diversity to it. So the idea here is that not allowing the skeletons to trigger the traps will make the players have to consider adding giants or golems or something like that to diversify the army to trigger those traps. Remember that obviously the skeletons can't trigger the traps. That might be weird to see in action. Like I said before, you'll see some mass witch attacks, and there'll also be other implications from the sneak peeks that I think might help balance this out a little bit, but certainly a bit of a nerf to the mass witch attack, the pure mass witch attack, not like a 7 witch go wee wee. That should still be totally totally fine, but not the 20 witch attacks. So let's go ahead and move on. Goblin level 6 has been moved to Town Hall 9. It was Town Hall 10, and they say we've been a bit stingy with the Goblin levels. Goblin lovers represent. Well, that makes Town Hall 9 actually be able to possibly use Goblins when farming, and that's pretty self-explanatory. Moving on, Expo levels 2 to 4, damage has been increased. And they say, once upon a time, the Expo was the most menacing defense in Clash. Now, with ultra-tanky giants, golems, and lava hounds, Expos could use a bit of a boost to help stay relevant at later levels. Especially at Town Hall 9, defense balance hinges upon them. The Expo previously rode just under Archer Tower DPS per Town Hall level, but these changes put it slightly over, so a bit of a defensive boost for Town Hall 9. We haven't seen one of those in quite a while. So moving on, Valkyries will be seeing a pretty significant, a pretty dramatic actually, buff. So the first part is Valkyrie damage has been increased and hit points have been decreased. They say, we're trying to win a place in people's armies with one of the Clash of Clans' least used troops. A general DPS increase sweetens the prospect, but the big difference is below, and let's move right to it. Valkyries start attacking much faster after reaching her target. Give her a try. They say Valkyrie is a unit that runs in deep and hits hard, posting herself dangerously, often recklessly, to maximize her spin attack damage. However, her wind-up speed has been so long that often groups of Valkyries spend more time waiting to attack and dying than actually dealing damage. With this change, the Valkyrie will launch her into spin much faster once she reaches the prime position, making her a much snappier, more reactive, and nimble troop. And let me tell you guys, from playing the new Valkyrie, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more Gova Ho at Town Hall 9, certainly more to come on that. But yeah, the new Valkyrie is pretty crazy, gotta say. So let's move on here. Wizard Towers level 5 to 9 hit points increased greatly at later levels. So again, a defensive increase in the game. So you can see, the Town Hall 11 added a lot of offense, and people found every Town Hall level much easier to 3-star, and like I said, sneak peeks will add a little bit on the offensive end as well, but I gotta tell you, another pretty big defensive buff. Now, Wizard Towers are a sturdy, reliable source of splash damage early on in Clash because of their huge hit point to DPS ratio, but this rapidly fell off in the mid to late game, even as armies got bigger and stronger. By Town Hall 9 and 10, Wizard Towers collapsed like a house of cards, despite looking like a huge mountain. A significantly higher hit point scaling will keep Wizard Towers relevant on defensive even into the late game, and bring them better in line with the Cannon and Archer Tower hit point buffs we've done in earlier updates. This is a big one here. Defending troops, but not heroes, flee from poison spells if they are standing idle. So I'm not going to read the description on this one, it's pretty long, but essentially at Town Hall 8 especially, and some at Town Hall 9, we see a lot of people just triggering the clan castle and then just whatever's in there, putting down a poison or two, and it dies, in 10, 15, 20 seconds. Now that's not going to be the case. You're going to have to go back to old-fashioned lures. Doesn't mean you can't use the same strategy, but now the dragon or whatever's in the clan castle is going to flee the poison radius. So you're going to have to use, barbarians or something near the edge of the map to keep the dragon in the poison radius. So it's just kind of more traditional luring like we used to see before the advent of poison. I actually like that one myself. Town Hall 5 Plus, all dark spell brewing times have been decreased to 10 minutes, and all elixir brewing times have been decreased to 20 minutes. They say the Clash team is looking for ways for playing easier, faster, and with less downtime. Spell brewing time is the obvious first bottleneck here, but there's still more that can be done in the future. And I've actually talked a lot to the Clash team about this, and they're really committed to making more playable for longer sessions, kind of like it used to be. So they don't necessarily want you to have to sit there and idly look at your chat or do whatever while you're waiting for your army to cook. This will actually coincide better with boost times, so you won't be forced to either go in without spells when your army is ready, or have to gem like I do with your final spell or two. All levels, battle time reduced to 3 minutes per attack once again. So this is a pretty big one, and to be honest with you, I have mixed emotions about it. I know a lot of the war community was on Reddit in the forums and even Twitter complaining about the 3 to 3.5 minutes, and I did think it was really excessive, especially for Town Hall 9, 8, 7, and below. Personally, I actually really liked the 3 minutes and 30 seconds for Town Halls 10 and 11. Given how tactical a 3-star attack or a 3-star attempt has to be to succeed usually at Town Hall 10 or 11, especially mainly starting with Queen Walks. So that's something that I'm going to suggest in the future, but we'll have to see how it plays out after the sneak peeks are over. Revenge attacks award star bonus and league bonus rewards, a long requested player feature. Enjoy. Don't really have too many strong feelings about that, as I never revenge anymore. New building constructions can no longer be cancelled. This change is mainly to prevent the intentional building and selling of high-level defenses during clan wars to get an unfair advantage. We're going to call this the Morph Rule. Well, this one I'm actually really happy about. It always sucked when you were playing against a clan who would just build Inferno Towers or now Eagle Artillery on prep day and then have it for battle day and then just cancel afterwards. Really not fair. So now there's a bunch of other stuff they added towards the bottom, so I'm going to kind of go through it rapid fire. Clan War matchmaking has been overhauled. Details in the dev blog. I've actually had a lot of videos about that, so that's not new to us. War sizes 35 versus 35 and 45 versus 45 have been removed to boost other war sizes. New war win streak has been added. War events menu has been redesigned to be much more readable. Gotta say, new war menu is absolutely fantastic. Can't wait till you guys can see that. Number of remaining war attacks can be seen from the clan war button and then outside the war map. All replays can be viewed directly from my team and enemy team summaries and war details. Basically, they just totally revamped the entire war tab of the game. Star button has been replaced with a bigger war details button on the bottom right of the war map. Other building summary. Tap the builder icon and see all in progress construction. That's pretty cool. I highlight that in my my first sneak peek video. You'll also be able to go ahead and tap one of those entries in your new builder summary to select that actual unit that's upgrading in your village. So just another ease of access add-on here. There's a lot of these this update. When attacking the army selection bar on the bottom of your screen, it's now going to have new arrows to easier scroll left or right. If an undeployed unit or spell is hidden off screen. It's going to basically kind of a reminder arrow. Tapping the loot cart now shows how many resources are inside before collecting. I actually like that as well because it actually feels like you're getting more when you know what's in it. It's just kind of a psychological thing. Resource storages have now more visual states to indicate how clearly full or empty they are. That's actually good for farming as well. I've noticed when playing on the dev build that when you're in a farming setting, it's actually much easier now to identify how much loot is in the collectors versus the storages. Exploding traps indicate their area of effect more clearly in battle. Battle now ends automatically if only a poison spell is remaining, and no longer ends automatically if only an earthquake spell is remaining. That was kind of annoying, glad they fixed that. More replays are stored on the defense log and the attack log, and they're available for longer. That's huge for us YouTubers, and it's pretty cool for you to share with your clanmates as well. Now this next one is pretty cool as well. Your army overview screen now will show the time until training and brewing is complete. It also accounts for active boosts. So it's pretty cool. In your army overview, you'll just be able to click that one button and it will give you a nice little synopsis of how much time you have to wait for your spells and your troops to be ready. As I just mentioned, you can also factor in your boosts in there as well. And lastly, player profile unlocked unit areas have been reorganized. There's actually a lot of changes that I noticed that aren't even in these this list of all these small changes. There's a lot of little stuff in this update, a lot of little stuff. Not only the balancing, but just in the art, and it seems like every time I take a look at the game, there's something that I notice that's different. So visually and just organizationally, you'll see a lot of changes this update. So guys, don't panic too much about all the defensive boosts that I mentioned earlier in this video. There's a lot added defensively this update in terms of all those balancing that I just shared. And it seems like the only real buff that we shared today is the Valkyrie getting the stronger and faster attack. Now that's pretty dramatic, but I gotta tell you, it can seem a little daunting at this point. I know the first time I read these release notes, I was like, oh my god, that is a bit overwhelming if you don't know what's coming first. And even then, when you know what's coming, it's still a bit overwhelming. You kind of have to see it in game. So we're going to have to wait and see, but I am curious about what you guys think of what you've heard and seen so far. Thanks for sticking with me till the end. If you did, I want to know about it. Let me know in the comments below. And guys, thanks for watching. As always, take care.